franktalks.com.
Relationships, sex, passion. With Dr. Laurie Betito. Hear the show live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD 800.
Welcome to Passion, a show all about love, sex, and relationships. Tonight, the Boys Club on Passion. We give men equal time tonight, of course. And the members of this exclusive club are Ryder, who is a sports guy here at CJD, but he's also the technical producer, and he is tonight. So he has a dual role. So, Ryan, I hope you're going to be able to focus I hope you're a good multitasker.
Oh, I am, Laurie.
Okay, good. So that's Ryan. We've got Frank Kermit. He's a regular contributor here, franktalks.com. He does the Dating Dilemma show with me here. I also have Irwin, who is the husband of one of our regular ladies from the Passion View. So, hi, Irwin.
Hi, Laurie.
I know some secrets that I can share.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh is right. You're in trouble. And we have the pleasure of having Delmar as our very special guest on the Boys Club. I don't know how many times I try to get you onto the Boys Club, but you're, of course, always too exhausted after 3 hours of radio just prior to the Boys Club. But thank you for sticking around.
Thanks.
Dan, and we'll start with you because you're not going to hang out all night. You need to get some rest. We understand that.
Thank you.
But you posted a blog that I loved, and then it got picked up by the Gazette, and it was talked about all over the place. And that is the PQ is hurting my love life. So we are actually going to. I'm doing something I never do on this show. What do you think it is? Talk about politics. I never talk. I avoid politics like the plague, but I'm making an exception tonight because we've had this conversation many times.
Because politics affects people's lives, and it affects people's relationships, and it did to me on a number of occasions, because I just, the reason for my reflection, and I write this in the piece, is that I just turned 30, and I noticed that over the last decade, obviously a lot of my friends are getting married, and a couple are even having babies, and I've noticed that it's unfortunate, but I've been in a few relationships now that have ended because the women in question could just not find jobs in Quebec, and this last one was particularly disappointing because she was extremely overqualified. I mean, trilingual, 3 degrees, headed a nonprofit,
and spoke French and everything too.
She spoke French.
Okay.
She's a native Quebecer, but lived in Israel for a while. And her French, like a lot of Montreal Anglos, was passable, but not. She
Not
made mistakes
amazing.
here and there.
Okay.
So and when you're on the job market and you hesitate in French, and when you have that Anglo accent, and when your grammar isn't perfect, it does very quickly disqualify you from a lot of jobs, which I think is unfortunate. And so that's what happened in this case. And I don't mean to pick on the PQ, by the way, because this problem, as I write in the piece, it's a liberal PQ. It's everyone's problem. It's a Quebec problem, but it's particularly worse under the PQ. And the problem is they create economic conditions and social conditions which are not favorable to minorities seeking jobs anywhere, but especially in the public sector. And it is an issue because, and I was inundated with emails and tweets and comments of people who were in just the exact same situation, and I found that to be pretty disappointing. I've discovered it is an issue for some people. Relationships and families are being broken up because Quebec is not at a place right now that is on par with some of our cousins in Toronto, Vancouver, or other North American cities. And the reality is people have to leave because of stupid government policies, and that hurts people's relationships.
Right. When I read your piece, it doesn't affect me, but it affects my kids. My kids are at an age where they're heading into university, where this is going to be an issue. They're going to meet people who may not get jobs here and who will have to go elsewhere. My own kids are thinking, they're already talking about not going to school here already. And when the Charter of Values, and they started, and they're just teenagers, right? And they're hearing this, and they're like, their reactions are like visceral, without knowing much about it. Their immediate reactions are, this is stupid, and they just, I want out. Like they just want, it's not even a thought to stay.
It's unfortunate that it's come to that, but it is an issue now. And when young Anglos in their 20s, mid-20s especially, I write in the piece, I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. When you start to get serious with someone, you have to have that conversation. Are you going to stay in Quebec?
Are you gonna stay?
It happens all the time, and it's so disappointing.
I'm wondering if it's happened to Ryan. Ryan, has that happened to you? Because you're a young guy too.
Yeah, it's happened to me, and even me myself. Like I'm tired of all the politics going on in Montreal, of the economy right now, the lack of job opportunities for the English language. I'm probably gonna end up moving out of town eventually myself.
So that has to be a conversation you two have to have if you're dating somebody, to say, I'm not sure I'm going to say. And Frank, you've been in and out of province too.
That's
so
right.
that's something that you've experienced.
When I was in Montreal and I was planning to leave, every woman that I dated, I would have to say, look, I'm eventually going to leave. Are you going to come with me? And it even happened until right up to the point where I was about to leave. There was someone I was seeing at the time, and I said, look, I'm getting ready to leave in about 5 months. This is it. And she says, but I don't want to go. So right there, a great relationship, had to let it go because I was leaving the province. I've come back, and it's still a challenge.
But you left because of better job opportunities for you too as an Anglo. Right.
Exactly.
And when you think of all the problems that, modern millennials face, STDs, education, I mean, all kinds of questions enter your head when you get into a relationship. This is will you stay in Quebec? Will you stay in your home? Is not a reasonable question for most young people to face these days. And it's really quite tragic. And I don't like to put myself out there in that sense necessarily, but I think I did it because I wanted to just bring a bit of a more human element, because I'm just all about attacking policy, and that can get boring after a while.
It was very personal. Like you wrote a very personal piece. I mean, you opened your life up here and your love life up here to everybody to see, which I think was my initial shock. He's actually saying it loud.
Yeah. Wow. I think someone had to. I think someone had to say it because
I agree.
Because the government is ruining people's relationships by their acts. But the charter, I mean, it's a very divisive thing on a personal level. It separates people in a very physical way, and that needs to be explored.
Entire families are going to move province, because if the kids move to a specific province and they're all there, what are the parents going to stay here for?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Waiting for the grandparents.
Both my kids leave. I'm not going to stay in a place where my kids aren't.
And also, love and family and relationships has to be a policy. Responsible governments incorporate these notions into their policy. And when it comes to family planning, the Quebec government should consider this, because if relationships are being broken up, if people are moving out, that means that those are future taxpayers. Those are people's kids that will never live here and never pay taxes here. It's all connected, and I don't think the PQ gets that. They don't get that how they're affecting people on a personal level.
Being a father of 6 kids, I'm encouraging my kids to leave this province, because not so much for the language. We can all speak English, French. It's not a question of it. I'm fluently bilingual, so there's no really difference when we speak. If there's an accent difference and so on, they speak the language. What they're looking for is job stability, creation. Where can they further their lives? And they can't further their lives in a province where you're being sort of choked to death.
Yeah, and I'll just throw in one more anecdote. I'm an only child, and with a Jewish mother, of course, and everyone knows a Jewish mother.
She's gonna let you go.
Well, listen, a few months ago, we had this conversation, and she said just that. She says, "You know what? I love you, and it kills me to say this, but you got to go." Yeah, and to hear for my mother, a Jewish mother, to say that to her only child is the most unheard of thing in the history of the world.
I've heard my husband say it to my own kids. Yeah. And it stabbed me in the heart when he said it, but he was being...
I would say it to my kids, too.
Honest.
I actually did break it off with a girl because of this, because I told her eventually I want to move out of town, and she said, no, I never want to move out of Montreal because I want to be close to my family. So I said, well, I don't think it's going to work out in that case.
Right, because you open up your options.
Exactly.
You say, if I get a job opportunity, I may leave, And for some people, no, they'll never leave. And for me, it was never an option. I never thought of leaving, ever, 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 until now.
You have to be in a really good place, and fortunately you are, and many Anglos are, but many Anglos of my generation just can't get there.
Right, and that's what I worry about. Not me. I'm not worried about me or Irwin or Frank or we're all settled here, but I do worry about our kids. I definitely worry about our kids. Wow. Anyway, thank you for writing this piece, Dan. You certainly opened up, minds and hearts, and got us thinking and got us scared, actually.
Thanks, I think.
Well, it got us thinking a lot. So thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out with us.
My pleasure.
All right. Thanks to Dan. More Boys Club coming up here on Passion on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
I like this theme song for the Boys Club. They're all dancing. The Boys Club tonight, we have Ryder, Frank, Kermit, and special guest Irwin. Can I say your last name? Doesn't matter, right? Lamberski,
It's
Irwin
fine.
Lamberski, who is the husband of Danya, who is on the Passion View. So recruited one of the husbands on here, and so I know some information about Danya, and we can talk about different things. And one of the things I know, we'll talk about this right now, and Danya doesn't know I'm going to talk about this, but we're going to talk about pubic hair. And I'll tell you
She loves
why.
you right now.
Yeah, I know she loves me right now because I know she doesn't have any. So I read a very interesting article which looked at a study. The headline was "Pubic hair is back. The men don't care and the women can't be bothered." And what it basically looked like, and I apologize for the listeners who've already heard this story, but I want to get the guy's perspective on this. 51% of the women who answered a survey, this is in the UK, do not style or groom their pubic hair, with 45% admitting that they can't be bothered anymore to keep up the grooming, and 62% revealing that their partner actually prefers the natural look, that they actually didn't particularly like the hairless. It's like a hairless cat, Ooh. Okay, so Irwin, you have a wife who doesn't have any.
And it's fine by me.
Because you can't say anything else but that, because she chose to take it off. Did she even ask your permission?
Oh, it was done way before.
I was going to say no permission, right? It was done
No.
before you got married,
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes.
so you had a zero say in the matter.
But a groomed woman is gorgeous.
There's groomed and there's no pubic hair.
Yeah, back in your day, there was only Brazilians, wasn't there?
In
There was
whose
there was
day?
no
In
fully,
our-
there
you
was no
talking
fully
about the
bare.
old guys here?
Yeah.
Us,
Talk about
us
old guy
people
like me?
here?
Yeah, your day.
There were no Brazil. There was none of that.
There was
There
no
were big
Brazilian.
bushes.
There was no Brazilian.
Oh, natural. Okay.
It was
Yeah.
completely natural. It wasn't even trimmed. It wasn't. You didn't even take scissors to it.
Brazilian was the coffee.
Yeah, that's right. And that was it. So, I don't know how you guys, Ryan, you as a young guy, because I've heard this comment from a young man once saying that he found that the biggest turnoff, like pubic hair was a big turnoff. And it was very much related to what he was used to seeing, which is pornography. And porn doesn't have any pubic hair. Today's porn doesn't have any pubic hair. So just was wondering your thoughts, you growing up, and I don't know, your thoughts on pubic hair. Can we have thoughts on pubic hair? I don't know, but if you have any.
Well, the reason in porn there's no pubic hair is because they want to make the girls seem as young as possible.
Not always.
And
not
represent youth, and youth don't have pubic hair, which is kind of perverted. But
yeah,
that's the
that's
industry
one
right there.
perverted story about it, but that's not necessarily
me
the
personally,
reason.
a vagina is a vagina. I like shaven, not shaven. It's all good in my
I'll
eyes.
take whatever is what he's really saying.
Not
You know,
not
you know how
whatever. I have
pathetic you
standards.
sound
I
like?
have standards, Laurie, but it's really like a vagina.
doesn't
like
matter to
shaven
you.
or not shaven. It doesn't matter. It depends the person who carries
who's-
that private part.
Well,
but amongst
that's a little bit like size. Does size really matter? Well, it's
Yeah.
more about how you use it and what you do with
Exactly.
it and who owns it, right?
Exactly, and but amongst my friends, my peers in my mid-20s, a lot of people my age do not like.
You've heard them.
bushes.
So you've heard them talk about
Yeah.
bushes, no bush, I don't want
Exactly.
bush, I don't like bush, all of that stuff. I don't know. What about your generation, Frank? Because you're one generation younger than Irwin and I.
I'm part of the generation just before everybody had access to porn, and my feeling is that being trim, being clean, it's always nice. It's a nice bonus.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I was just grateful that I was getting any. So if there's a
So you
lot
sound
of-
like Ryan at that point.
I'm just great. Look, you're willing, great. I don't care I don't care if there's hair. I don't care if there's no hair. I'm just grateful. Thank you.
It's
Thank
really
you.
not on. It's really not on the top of the list of what
No.
you're looking
So
for.
so men, what you're saying is they really don't care. Like there's there's
Most
a
men,
category
I,
of
I
men
think,
don't care.
don't care because
With-
like the guys are saying, as long as
Are we
it's
getting
there,
some?
we're happy.
Are we getting
Right.
some? Do we have to pay for this? No, this is good. with one caveat, it has to be clean.
I got a question for
Yes.
you guys.
Yes.
You can answer it after the break, but do you two shave yourselves?
Aha, good question. We'll talk about. I think we've had this conversation before, but we'll quickly answer with our new people here. The grooming for the men, the manscaping as we call it. You're listening to Passion and the Boys Club here on CJAD 800.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
The Boys Club tonight on the program. Our members of this club, we have Frank Kermit. He's a regular contributor here on Passion. He's also the online relationship columnist for the Suburban newspaper. We have Ryder, who's a sports guy and a technical producer as well. And he's actually right now technically producing this show as he's on it too, so he's multitasking. And a friend of mine, Irwin Lamberski, who happens to be the husband of Dania, who is a very good friend of mine, and she's on Ladies' Night, so she's on next Monday, actually, a week from today. She'll be on with Suzanne Deshotel and another friend, Maya, and we're going to have a grand old time. But in the meantime, we are getting the guys' perspective on stuff. And, I haven't really given out the phone numbers, which I can, because I do invite you to call in or text in 514-790-0800. If you'd like to call in. If you want to text, you can at 514-800. And we have Serge on the line joining us. Hi, Serge.
Hello.
Hi. What are your thoughts?
Well, I prefer a little bush because it's more appealing because you can see the shape of the vulva, and it's more exciting.
To have a little bit of hair is more exciting.
A big forest, it's not appealing.
A big I think most people might agree that a forest is not so appealing, but a little bit is still nice, no? Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, I wouldn't like having an encounter again with the shaven kind because let me tell you about my first experience with a woman in her intimate parts.
Okay.
She had shaven.
Okay, the whole thing?
Pardon?
She had shaven the whole thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I arrived home, my mother seen my face and she said, "What happened to you?" I said, "Well, I told her that I had my first encounter with a woman, and it was all red around the
You got a rash on your face.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my. Well, now you know how women feel when they're making out with somebody who who's not clean shaven up top, right?
Three-day-old beard.
That's
yes,
right.
I know. I can understand that.
Serge, thanks for contributing to our Boys Club tonight. Have a good night.
I'm glad to call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You too can join us at 514-790-0800. A couple of text messages. Ian, also my good friend Ian, who did such a wonderful job doing the carpets. Did we tell you the story of Ian? Did Daniel tell you the story
about Ian,
of
the
wonderful
cleaner.
Ian?
Tell
brought
the
me
world.
Cupcakes.
Tell the world the story.
Well, Ian's a regular contributor to the Boys Club, and actually he's always saying some really funny things. Ian Bell, you don't mind me saying your name, right? Ian Bell? Anyway, but he was texting in and he was telling us, you know what, if you ever need like carpet cleaning or anything done, he owns like a company, a service. And I said, and it turned out that's perfect. I actually do need that. And we became friends, and there you go. So Ian says, at least you don't eat hair pie. All right, Ian.
What
Ian
type of
always
carpet
comes up
cleaner are
with
you
funny
talking
stuff.
about here?
Oh, not that kind of carpet cleaner. That's a good one, Ryan. Ooh, you're quick. I'm real slow. My office. He managed to clean. Yes,
in your office.
My office cleaning. Not in my office, the office carpet.
Okay, now I'm teasing you. Now I'm teasing
shaving
you.
is too prickly, another texter says. Someone else says, I'm only 36, but a little old-fashioned. This is from Andy, I guess, but a hairless woman to me looks like a little girl, therefore makes me feel like a pedophile. I don't know. When you're with a grown woman, I don't know. Irwin, you're the one who has a wife with no hair.
No, you don't feel like a pedophile at all. I mean, you realize you're with a woman of a proper age.
Right. Clearly. Right.
So, no, I mean, unless it's something that he has in his head, maybe, but
right.
I wouldn't think so.
Right. Never. In other words, never crossed your mind.
Absolutely not.
Well, there you go.
Smooth is very nice.
Yes.
But like you said, Ryan, you'll take it any way it comes.
No, that's not
Come
true.
on, yeah, you said it.
I didn't say I'll take it any way it comes.
Frank was saying
I'll say
that.
I don't mind if it's hairy or bare, but it depends who the girl is. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't say I'll take it any way it comes.
Okay,
That's Frank.
okay,
That's Frank.
okay, you're right,
Don't lower my standards.
All right, I won't. I'm sorry.
Don't lower his standards.
Frank, only yours are low. Okay, but Frank's married and he's not going anywhere. So there you go. Can we switch subjects now and talk about, I don't know why we always get stuck on those topics, but I want to talk about gifts because it is the holiday season, and I think guys have a bit of a difficult time. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but getting gifts that women don't complain about or do appreciate. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of like getting something for your wives or your girlfriends and it was like, oh, thank you. You know, where it really was not what you got it wrong. Basically, you got it wrong. How often does that happen that you got it wrong? I'm putting you on the spot here.
I'll give you a tip. Ask a few weeks before what they want.
Yeah, but you can't know. That doesn't
Or
work,
like do
Ryan.
it like indirectly.
No,
Like,
you
be
can't
like,
ask a
is there
woman
something that
what
you want
she
right now?
It's not something she wants because she's not going to tell you, "Gee, I want that thing." She wants you to think. She wants to know that you're thinking about her. She wants to know that you've been listening and she wants you to get her something that means something sentimental. Guys aren't good with that.
If it's a piece of jewelry,
Yeah.
okay, usually I will not go out and choose a piece of jewelry for my wife.
So who chooses?
She does.
Okay. So you will not do that's like a standard
No.
thing.
I mean, I will gladly go with her and we will choose something together.
Right.
And I want her to make sure, because I really want to make sure if she's going to wear a piece of jewelry that I'm going to get for her, then I would rather her enjoy it and have a little bit of taste. I mean, we can choose it together.
Right. Although knowing your wife, she'd very well say, Irwin, not my taste. Thank you very much. I'm exchanging it. So I don't think she'd hang on to it
I
anyway.
wouldn't even start.
But it's interesting that you won't even, you won't even attempt it to buy her a piece of jewelry.
I have before. I mean, I'd have to say, I think Danny would agree. The first time I think I did get it right because she's still wearing it.
Was it her engagement ring?
No,
Okay.
no, it wasn't actually.
Okay.
But no, but when it comes to some other pieces of jewelry, I know my wife has a very fine taste in jewelry, and I enjoy going with her to choose it.
Right. So, but that makes you more comfortable than say having to go into a store and buying something on your own.
Yeah.
Right.
You can never go wrong with a spa package. What about that?
Yeah, a spa package is okay, but there's no sentimentality to it. Remember, I'm telling you now, women tend to like a gift that says something. It doesn't have to be big, It doesn't have to be anything, but has to be more personal. Frank, as a relationship coach, you probably have a lot more to say about this.
100%. I used to struggle with gifts. I remember buying this one girl a huge, wonderful gift, and she broke up with me because it didn't come with a card. And what she really wanted was a card. And she says, I told you before, a card is more meaningful to me. It was just ridiculous. Now what I do when it comes to buying gifts for your significant other, create a gift where the two of you spend time together.
That's also fun, yeah.
Okay, it's an outing for the two of you to spend time together, even if it's a picnic in the park.
So the spa package that Ryan's talking about is good if you're included. In other words, I made a date for us to go to the spa together.
I actually did that once, and it worked out quite well.
See, that's nice. That's okay.
The second kind of gift is where you buy the person a trinket based on something that you know they like. So if I was in a relationship with somebody, I would say, what's your favorite cartoon character from, let's say, Looney Tunes?
I don't know, Bugs Bunny, whatever.
Bugs Bunny. I'll get you a Bugs Bunny keychain.
Right.
It's really inexpensive, but I know that you like Bugs Bunny.
And also you heard me, right?
Exactly.
You heard
and
me.
You feel
right.
heard. It's inexpensive. You're getting a wonderful gift. And now every time you pull out your keys and you're fiddling with your keys, you see Bugs Bunny, you'll think of me.
Right. You know, and I just saw the movie Good Luck Chuck. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it. Is that what it's called? Good
Is that
Luck
with
Chuck?
the coach?
No, it's with a guy who every woman he sleeps with, it's like a curse was put on him when he was a kid. I mean, it's kind of silly, but it was really fun. Where, you know, all the women he sleeps with, he doesn't end up being the guy. The next guy ends up being the lucky one, right? And so, and he meets this one girl he really likes, and he doesn't want her to anyway. And she loves penguins, and he gives her a story. She tells him a story about how penguins mate, and they leave a little pebble, and that was like the first gift he ever gave was this little pebble in a box. Like he remembered the story, and I thought, okay, that's the sentimental
that's
part
a meaningful
of it.
Gift.
Yeah, but I think most guys are much more pragmatic, much more.
More practical.
Easy to buy for than
think
women.
about what could you use? What do you need? Tell me what you need. And instead of how we think as guys, we would appreciate being asked what we want.
Right. You would appreciate it more to say, hey, what do you need? And you say, oh, I need a new drill or whatever it is. You'd be okay with that. So you don't care about the sentimentality of
And
it.
I love gift certificates. There was a survey that
See,
just
that
came
you
out.
don't get a
Yeah.
girl.
No, guys.
You
for
don't,
a guy,
but
for a guy.
for a guy, but
there was
you
a
don't get a
survey
girl
that just came out. The number one gift this season, this holiday season, is actually gift certificates, which
Right.
I was
Like
surprised.
gift
I was
cards,
surprised
right?
to
Gift
read
cards
that.
are
yeah.
a big thing.
And-
Yeah, but you don't want to get your significant
No,
other
you
that.
don't.
For Valentine's Day last year, I know my wife said you can do something for Valentine's Day, and we said no. And then I said, okay, well, fine. She said, are you going to take me? I said, yeah. She said, do I need to pack a bag? I said, yes.
She knows her
so
husband.
we picked her up and we
Right.
went down. We checked in here at the Chateau Champlain, and we went for a walk, and we ended up at the Bon Jovi concert.
Oh, that's so much
So
fun. Oh,
That's
very nice.
then I surprised her.
And
Right.
I
That's a
surprised my
surprise.
girlfriend for Valentine's Day to Bon Jovi.
Well, there you go. We'll
They
take a
love it,
break.
the women. They
You're,
love it.
Yeah.
you're not doing your other job, Ryan, which is keeping us on track here. You're listening to the Boys Club on Passion on CJAD. The Boys Club tonight on the program, and on the Boys Club we have Ryan Ryder, who's a sports guy and a technical producer here on Passion and at CJD. Frank Kermit of franktalks.com and the online relationship columnist for the Suburban newspaper. And we have Irwin Lamberski, who is the husband of a good friend of mine, joining us in studio as well and talking about all kinds of different stuff. So if there's any issues that you want to bring up, then please do at 514-800. Somebody had a message for you, Frank. Sorry, Frank, but if a girl broke up with you because she wanted a card instead of the huge gift you bought, although I don't know how good or bad the gift was, that girl probably wasn't being honest. She wanted to break up prior to that gift, but it's surely no news to you. Love you. They feel bad for you, Frank.
Well, there was a happy ending. I went out just to see what would happen. I bought her a card, and we were back together again.
Oh, so you did go back together
Like
after that. All right,
yeah.
there you go. We've been talking about gift giving. As guys, do you, and I'm asking our listeners now as well, do you have trouble trying to figure out what to get your partner? And I know my husband struggles with that a little bit in terms of I'm lost, like I don't know what to. And often he will get me stuff that he thinks, I think that he likes, like electronics. Like he thinks that I'll find it cool, and I don't really have much use for some of that stuff. And some stuff I'm happy, like I was very happy to get my iPad and whatever, but it would, these are, they're gadgets, they're gadgets. And I think in his mind, oh, let's get her a gadget. Ooh, so much fun. We'll play with gadgets, and I'm like, it doesn't really matter to me. So I think there is a bit of a struggle with that. I don't think he'd dare buy me jewelry either. He would not know. I think he would just say, could you just go buy it yourself? Tell me, just pick it, because I'm not, I don't have the confidence that I'm going to get you the right one. So that's a bit confusing for a lot of guys, I think. And I don't think women make it any easier for you guys either, by the way. I'll take some of that blame.
No, but it's nice to go together to do it, though.
Yes.
It is nice, yes.
My wife and I bought her engagement ring together.
Right.
We went to the jewelry store. We knew what kind of a budget, and I said, okay, this is our budget. I want you to pick something that you're going to like. But
Well,
I'm not
you're going to wear for, I agree with that. I think that I would not want somebody to get me something I'm expected to wear every day of my life and look at every day of my life if I have no say in it. Maybe that's my controlling nature. I don't know. But I need to know. I need to have a say in what I'm going to wear every day.
Okay.
So to me, that makes it...
For an engagement ring, yes, you should go together because, like you said, it's going to be...
But then you can't make it a surprise,
ideally for your
right?
whole life. But for a holiday gift, a birthday gift, it should be a surprise. You should go and make it personal and make it something special for your significant other.
Yes, I agree. I do, and I like little surprises, and they don't have to be, again, they don't have to be grand gestures. So I don't want guys thinking that you need grand gestures to please a woman either.
Well, even if you know what the gift is, there's still a surprise in the way it's going to be given.
Yeah, that's true too.
So that's part of the anticipation. That's part of let's go out and do something. You're going to get you're going to get the engagement ring at some point between now and X date, but you don't know when, and you don't know how.
Right. Yeah, that's true too. You can and men love doing that kind of stuff, I think.
No, we don't.
Oh, you don't?
We don't love doing that sort of thing. We just love the reward we get when we do that sort of thing. That's the only reason we do it.
It's nice to see the reaction.
It is nice to see the reaction, and men do want to please the women. That's the thing. I've noticed that, and I have to give guys credit for that, because whether it's in bed or out of bed, they do just want their partners to be happy.
It's part of being masculine.
Well, it's also part of like being a kid, too. When a kid gets a reward for it, your partner's happy that, hey, we're all happy.
Yay! Yeah, exactly. What about just buying a little something like flowers or anything, just for no reason at all, other than an occasion, which I think is also a great thing. No, you do that?
I do that a lot. I do it a lot. I like.
You're such a
Just
good
like to-
guy. You're such a good guy.
I also do it, but I've also had the bad experience of showing up with flowers for no reason and just not being appreciated for it. And that was a major turnoff.
And what do you mean? Like, what was the reaction?
I just showed up with flowers and I said, here, I saw these, I thought of you. And it was just sort of the attitude of, oh, flowers. How nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll just hang it up here with all the other flowers that other people give me.
That's a big
was it?
turnoff right there. People who don't appreciate.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, I guess you want to be appreciated for sure.
Co-
For at least for making those thoughts.
Coming back, how about let's continue our conversation from last month, talking a bit about turnoffs.
Turnoffs?
Yeah.
All right, why don't we take a break and come back and finish off with the male turnoffs? And I will ask that question to the females on next Monday. What are their biggest turnoffs on guys? So you guys will have to tune in on Monday night. But we will hear from the fellows tonight and find out what their biggest turnoffs about women might be. Right here on the Boys Club on Passion on CJD.
You're listening to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito on CJAD 800.
Coming up to the home stretch in the Boys Club tonight on Passion, Frank Kermit. That's a Boys Club song? It says Boys Club? Oh, that's so cool
Yeah.
that you found that. That's interesting. Ryan Ryder, he's our technical producer tonight, but he's also a regular member of the Boys Club. And we also have Irwin, who is here, who's the husband of a good friend of mine. And so the last thing we're going to talk about is are your turnoffs. Like, what are the things that come to mind? I say, what's your female turnoff or whatever that could turn you off a girl? What would it be? Irwin.
Tattoos.
Really? Like none?
Tattoos, body piercing, surprisingly enough, even smoking.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly tattoos.
Okay, that's interesting because a lot of people find tattoos actually quite sexy. I don't know.
I adore it. When I see a woman nude with tattoos, oh, my heart goes pitter-patter.
Really? You love tattoos. Does
I
it matter
love
how much or how many, or you don't care? You just like inked?
I love the fact that you have to be very open-minded and daring and adventurous and take risks when you want to get a tattoo, and those are qualities that I really appreciate.
So it's it's more about what it says about the person rather than the actual.
It's not the tattoo itself, it's what that symbolizes in my head about the person.
What about you, Ryan? What would be your turnoffs?
Last month I said bad breath and any foul smells for that matter. But I'm gonna add.
I think we'd all agree with that. I don't know anybody who is going to enjoy somebody with bad breath or foul smelling anybody.
I'm gonna add to that this month. I'm gonna say I agree. I'm gonna say smoking. I don't like smoking at all. I hate all smokers. Sorry, Laurie.
Not me.
I dislike rudeness and piercings. I'm okay with tattoos, but I'm not a big fan of piercings, especially the nose ones. Like they look like a bull.
Piercings don't bother you?
Piercings don't bother me. Once again, it shows that somebody's adventurous, and I like adventurous people. The one thing that turns me off completely is lack of appreciation. And, this will go as far as it takes a lot of guts for a guy to ask out a girl. There's always this pressure on men to be the one to ask out women.
Right.
It takes a lot of guts to risk rejection. And I don't think that a lot of women appreciate men enough who take the time to say, hey, I like you. Let's go out for a coffee.
That's interesting. That
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And not just
Appreciation's
say, oh, let's chill, let's hang out. Actually, take the time, be direct, ask the girl on a date. I agree with you, Frank.
Yes. Well, there's a lesson for women. Maybe they've heard a little something tonight. Guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Ryan, thank you for producing
My
and
pleasure.
for being a guest on the show. Frank, good luck with your new column on the Suburban.
Thank you.
Irwin, we'll have you back on again.
Looking forward to it.
You can listen to your wife next week when
I
she's
always
on
do.
the program. I'm sure she heard you too tonight.
I'm sure she'll be talking about you. and
Yeah,
us.
that's right. That's right. There you go. Thank you all for tuning in, listening in. Very much appreciated. Coming up next, you've got news followed by the CJAD Comedy Show. Have a wonderful rest of the night. And please remember, life is short, so make sure you take the time to smell the flowers and indulge your passions.
Listen to Passion with Dr. Laurie Betito, live weeknights 10 to 11 on CJAD and CJAD.com.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com. franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com. Coaching available in person, by phone, and by Skype. For singles, couples, and alternative lifestyles, franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating and relationships? Visit franktalks.com.